The glowing idol of Rajaji Centre, Mr. Raghavan, the lone lady and gentleman. I have been given this proud honor of welcoming all of you and carry Cole to Newcastle. Introduce Mr. Raghavan briefly. I have had the good fortune of being associated with Mr. Raghavan for close to 20 years now. But then, like we always have regrets in life, if only I had known a person of his caliber earlier, I would have been a better person as of date. Though most of us may be belonging to the post-independence era and some may be aware of certain developments prior to that, it may not be an exaggeration when I say many of us have not seen Subramanya Bharati. Many of us have not had the opportunity of even learning from the monumental works of Thiruvalluvar. Most of us have not seen the Right Honorable B.S. Sastry. Now have all of them rolled into one personality, and that is Mr. B.S. Raghavan. The flow of Tamil, the felicity of English, I would think is unmatched in this part of the country as of today. We remain permanent students, avid listeners of his extraordinary poetry skills. A public servant of great repute, he has been the goodwill ambassador of India even in the United Nations. His bureaucratic skills are very well known. As the former Chief Commissioner of Tripura, he has been at the helm of affairs in West Bengal, at the central government, various positions, having served under 3 different prime ministers also during his tenure. The greatest blessing that all of us have is that at this young age of 88, his brain is as active as that of a 5-year-old child. Inquisitive mind, a very receptive ear, felicity with whatever he talks, clarity in his analysis. All rolled into one is Mr. B.S. Raghavan, who will now talk to us on the 2 years of the Bharatiya Janata Party government and the road ahead for this government. If only some of the bureaucrats and some of the politicians listen to him, I am sure that we are going to have better times than what we have today. Over to Mr. Raghavan.
I am most grateful for the very kind words spoken by Sri G. Subramaniam. For as long as I have been associated with the Rajaji Centre for Public Affairs and the Young Men's Indian Association, I have enjoyed the bounty of affection of all the members, of my friends and of the audience, for which I am deeply grateful. It is not given to a person like myself to be the beneficiary of such a need of affection and regard. If at all, I have still got some enthusiasm and energy for public affairs, that comes from the inspiration that all of you give me. You give me the energy, you give me the enthusiasm. And because of you, I am sustained and upheld. My dear friends, today's topic is a very interesting and intriguing one. But I must warn you right at the outset that I am not going to base it on any information or data that you yourself do not have. the newspapers and the media have been full of statistics, of commentaries, of columns, of essays, of editorials, ever since Modi completed 2 years. So all that I will be basing my comments on will be on sources that you yourself have had access to. And you yourself are thinking citizens who have been following very closely and minutely whatever has been happening in this country. So what I'm going to bring to bear on my presentation today is the little that I have seen of politics during my association in the past 60 years or so, from the time of Jawaharlal Nehru, and to give my own perception in as balanced and disinterested manner as I can of the state of the Union as I see today. First of all of you know with what excitement, regardless of the political persuasion to which we might have belonged, you will recall the excitement. I certainly at my age felt excited when Narendra Modi came to power in 2014. The excitement was not because of any ideology, not because of anything other than the fact that after a very long time we seem to have a personality at the helm of affairs in this country who knew what he was talking about, who was self-possessed, who was thinking about issues very deeply and who was committed to this great country, and who comes to Delhi with a record of achievement in his own state, which earned praise from not only many people in this country but many commentators from abroad. Remember, commentators in other countries are not obliged to flatter us at all. And if they felt admiration for what Narendra Modi had done in Gujarat, well, there must be some substance in it. And as you know, the Time magazine put him on the cover and made him the centerpiece of their articles at least 4 times. And therefore, here was a man who came to power in Delhi with that kind of a reputation that he had acquired, not only at home, from abroad. And he did it with panache. He did it with a certain degree of bearing, which was almost apostolic, almost an evangelical personality, a person who was able to inspire. I thought here was a person, a leader at long last, who is capable of inspiring people. And when he spoke for the first time from the ramparts of Red Fort, I have listened to Jawaharlal Nehru onwards, from the first speech of Jawaharlal Nehru on the ramparts of Delhi, and I don't think I have missed any speech of the Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort in Delhi all these years when India had been independent. Narendra Modi's first speech from the ramparts of the Red Fort of Delhi was something unique. It thrilled me at my age. Here was a Prime Minister who was not talking airy-fairy things, mumbo-jumbo, something very lofty, something esoteric, something that flew over the heads of people. Can you believe here was a Prime Minister who stands on the ramparts of Red Fort of Delhi and talks about toilets, simple things as drinking water, sanitation, purification of Ganga, cleanliness of the country. For the first time, a Prime Minister devotes himself to tangible, concrete, doable, achievable things for the common people. He was not talking about cosmic things like relations with Pakistan. Of course he did, but he also talked about specific, concrete details that touch the lives of the people. If you cannot have good toilets, the sufferings you undergo as a poor person, he only knows. We don't know. People with attached bathrooms, they know what it is not to have a toilet. They know what it is not to have drinking water. They see the filth and the corpses on the shores of the Ganga, the sacred river. Here was the Prime Minister who drew attention of the nation to his determination, to his vow that he was bent upon making this the cleanest country, a country that many of you who had been abroad, you go and any country like advanced countries like the United States, England, you can comb your hair by looking at the road. It's a clean road. You don't have posters, you don't have placards, you don't have dogs on the road, leave alone bulls and stray cows. Now, here was a person who had that kind of a vision to make this country come up to the level of the advanced countries of the world. His first speech from the ramparts of Delhi. He still has that potential. We have a leader today. I am not talking, please remember, I am not talking about him as a BJP person, as an ideologue, as NDA and so on. I am talking about him, I tell you in all honesty and sincerity, as a student of management, as a lifelong student of governance, as a lifelong student of administration, as a lifelong observer of public affairs. Here is a person who is able to inspire, who is able to articulate. As a student of management and governance, I have been listening to all his speeches that he had been delivering to our diaspora in the United States, in Australia and elsewhere. I have been listening to his address to Parliament in UK, Australia, now in the United States joint session. Cogent, coherent, clear-cut, reasoned exposition of what he wants to do. I think we have now today a precious national asset in Narendra Modi. Here is at long last, maybe after Jawaharlal Nehru, a person who probably knows where India should be heading and where he himself should be heading in order to put India on the top of the Committee of Nations. And alas, when you raise expectations of this kind, what people expect is that the person will have a magic wand and he will wave the magic wand and say, let there be drinking water and there will be drinking water. Let there be light and there will be light. People think that such a person will be endowed with the kind of magic with which he will wave the wand and get things done. So there has been a drop in the enthusiasm of the people for the kind of government that he has established. There were 2 or 3 aspects of his running the government that I think has been further complicating matters for him. He has all the vision, he has all the energy, he has all the commitment, he has all the determination, he has the personality. But at some point, my feeling, I am intrigued by the fact that Hello? 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 Are you able to hear me?
No.
Are you able to hear me now?
லூஸ் கான்டாக்ட் மட்டும் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணிடலாம். ஏன்னா
அது லூஸ் கான்டாக்ட்.
ரெண்டாவது மைக் மூணாவது மைக் பார்க்கறதுக்கு போயிடலாம்.
Hello. Hello. Okay. Are you able to hear me there?
No.
I will go and hear.
Correct. Hello.
Yes.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes. How's my audio?
Yes.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
But I am using my natural voice.
Training. There is small gathering. You are audible without mic also there.
All right. Okay, I will raise my voice a little bit and see. If you can come forward, that may be helpful. What I was puzzled was the fact that a person endowed with such perspicacity did not take care of a few very small things, or a few small things did not strike him. He came with, for the first time in so many years, 30, 40 years, with he came for the first time with a majority. For the first time in so many, 3 decades, more than 3 decades, he was able to form a government on his own, with a majority of his own. He did not have all his expectations, etc., could have been met very well if only psychologically he was able to impress on the people right on the day he assumed the charge that he meant business. And he was in a position to do so because of that majority, because of the way he came triumphant. He made a triumphant entry into the Delhi governance domain. Therefore, with that kind of a ballast behind him, he could have, within the first 100 days, as President Roosevelt did, created, he could have electrified the country by a few small things. You know, administration is 90% psychology and only 10% nitty-gritty. You must remember that. Many people think that administration is policies, programs, schemes, etc. 90% psychology. I'll give you an example. President Roosevelt came to power in the midst of the crisis caused by the Great Depression.